All right, here we go.
I feel like you can see it from
I'm Kat.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy. Hayley is like displaying her wine right now, like she's on The Price is Right. Anyway,
Right.
And this is the podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and each teach a lesson we can't teach at school. No, ma'am. What are we drinking, Hayley?
Skims.
Nice.
We're drinking Skims, which just makes me think of face masks made out of skins.
It makes me think of Skims, like Kim Kardashian's spandex brand.
Oh, right. Yeah. And her most recent video release where her finger's all fucked up.
Yeah, her finger fucked up. But then did you see that she is like the exclusive pajama giver for the Olympics? Like she's giving all the Olympic athletes like their athleisure shit.
I feel like she should give every just normal person athleisure shit, and then she would get more business.
No, but she's like designing, like Skims is designing like the pajamas for the Olympics. Well, it's not personalized, but like, you know how like whenever the Olympics is on, like the Olympians get all the like gear that has like the Olympics logo on it. Skims is doing that.
Well, good for them. Good for them. I was trying so hard not to be impressed because I'm like, her finger was all messed up. She's making me have body dysmorphia.
Yeah, the finger thing was poor timing, but or the Olympics announcement was great timing right after the finger thing.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Just shoo it away, cover it up with something else.
Yeah.
Can I ask what the finger is? Sorry.
Oh, it's that video where she's like going down her side. She's like laying down. She's going down her side, and the finger like stretches out and then snaps back.
It's a wave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like clearly the video was edited, but also like isn't every clothing ad edited?
But it's Kim fucking Kardashian. She has so much money. You'd think she'd be able to at least have someone able and capable of editing her videos right.
So your problem is they should have edited it better. It shouldn't be edited.
If they're going to edit it, it should have been edited better. Because not only am I now self-conscious about my wide hips, I'm self-conscious about my morphing fingers.
Your finger doesn't morph.
And it's really cutting to the bone.
I understand that. I'm so sorry for your fingers.
Me too. Let's talk about the wine. Okay, not Skims, but Skins. It's by Field Recording, which we thought was highly appropriate. We're studio recording. We're not in a field, but we are recording.
Yeah.
And this wine, it's a white wine. I'm really pleased because it seems like there's just a lot of different types of white wines or like grapes that are going into it. It has a really rich, deep flavor to me. It's like the reddest of white wines I think I've ever tasted.
Whoa.
Yeah, it has like Chenin Blanc, Pinot Gris, Albarino, and then Verdelo and Riesling.
That's interesting that it lists the varietals on there because with a lot of blends they don't. I haven't tried it yet. Do you care if I take a sip out of the bottle?
I don't care.
Okay. My cup right now is full of Bud Light seltzer, so I still have yet to try the wine.
Yeah, there's a reason. I've just been on a kick of trying new things.
Ooh, it is good.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. And we didn't even chill it, which is how it says it should be served as a light chill. No, we're just procrastinators.
We forgot. After like 2 weeks ago, we were like tooting our horns for remembering to chill the rosé. But I didn't even know that this was a white wine because the bottle is really a dark green. It looks red in the bottle.
Yeah. But it's really great. I like this one a lot. You can get it at High Point Grocery for $17.99. That's here local to Memphis. They have a lot of other local restaurants that they serve. Their wine selection is amazing. In our partnership, we've gotten to try so many new wines and really get outside of our comfort zone, which I have absolutely loved. So if you're interested, which I'm sure you are, how could you not be? High Point Grocery is at 469 High Point Terrace. Go check them out. Grab a couple bottles of wine and tell them the Night Classy sent you. I don't know what they'll say, but let's test it out.
They'll probably say, "What? What's that?"
No.
Yes.
They post us on their Instagram every week. We're practically famous in High Point Grocery.
Yes, we walk in there and don't get any strange looks when we take pictures with the wine.
I think the strange looks are like, they're looking at us. Not they know us. They must know us. They're like, I didn't know that they did this in like hours where customers were here. They thought that we had special access. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from the very odd looks from everywhere in the grocery store.
Yeah, we started taking our pictures outside because it was just too uncomfortable to do it inside. But anyway, this wine is delicious, and I've like gotten like accustomed to fancy wine, but I did just buy a box of Trader Joe's wine, and I gotta say it's fucking delicious, and it's good to be back to my roots.
Last night, that's what we had, right?
Yeah, it was good, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was like a light red wine too. It wasn't too...
It was a Pinot Noir, so pretty light of a red wine. But yeah, delicious. This is now an ad for Trader Joe's. We're fully sponsored.
Yeah, we just have to let Trader Joe's know.
Just send them an invoice.
Oh my gosh, a Venmo request.
To just like a man named Joe.
Any Joe, just all the Joes. Let's all request them for $10 and see what we get back.
Do you think anyone does that? Just I bet if you send out like 10 Venmo requests a day, like they catch you.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Probably not, though, earlier on when Venmo was just being created.
Well, now Venmo is not early on.
Venmo is changing. They just switched over because PayPal owns Venmo. And Venmo has now created a thing because PayPal's like, you need to make money.
Yeah.
And they just haven't made as much as they should for
now
how
they're
many
like
transactions.
taxing things.
Yeah. If whoever requests the money, if it's like through a vendor, actually somebody like selling things, not just paying your roommate for Wi-Fi, you're getting taxed.
Yeah. Yuck. So when
that's fun.
That's fun. Capitalism. I love it.
Woo!
We have a house guest right now, and she works for Amazon, and she was like giving us all the tea on working for Amazon. So that was fun today. You missed it, Hayley, but I'm sure
I kind of overheard it a little bit, but I couldn't listen that well. What was there any like main point of tea?
I don't want to like throw her under the bus, but like
no one's gonna know.
Everyone's gonna know. Everyone who listens to this,
they're not gonna know who she is.
I know, but I don't know.
Okay, you tell me, and then I'll say that I read it on some forum.
Shut up.
Just whisper it in my ear. Just whisper it in my ear.
We'll put it on Patreon. Anyway, I don't like have any notes for my talking points because you just got back from Ohio and you did all kinds of interesting things.
I did. I am exhausted. I was constantly busy, but I got to see so many people, but still it felt like not all the people. You know, after being away for 2 years from my hometown, it's like there's just so many people to catch up with that it just doesn't all get done. But it was really hard being away from you guys and the cats.
Oh my God.
Especially the cats.
I missed you so fucking much because for the last week, Alex been going to work every day and Kelly has a job. And like I lost touch with all my friends, like other friends through the pandemic. And so I've just been like sitting at home all by myself. Missing you.
You should have just come with me.
I should have.
That's
Actually, I should have.
Yeah, that would have been really fun. I don't know.
What's wrong with me?
Why I didn't think I didn't think it through and didn't invite you.
I guess, the issue is you didn't invite me because I would have gone.
I'm the issue.
You are.
I'm the issue.
You are.
Well, next time, everyone else has left you. Oh, sorry. I was... something in my headphones. I was just like holding the cord, and then it started
shorted out.
Yeah.
Is it good now?
I won't touch it. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I need something that I can actually fidget with, like a literal fidget. But that's okay. Anyway, my trip was good. I went skydiving, which is probably the highlight of it all. My brother's been trying to convince me, not trying. I told him I would go when I moved to Memphis. The plan was for him to move me down here. We were going skydiving. He was leaving the next day, but it just didn't work out. It was so busy then. So yeah, I jumped out of a plane. And he didn't even end up going. He's literally getting his license.
He didn't go with you?
He was like, my stomach's kind of hurting today. Is it okay if I
didn't know you went by yourself. What the hell?
I went by myself.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. The plan the whole time was for us to go together since, you know, he does this pretty often now. But he was like, my belly hurts.
Yeah,
like,
it's just old hat to him. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't have to go with her. Meanwhile, you're jumping out of a fucking plane.
I wasn't
God.
sure. Like, I knew that I was gonna go, but I was like kind of second guessing the night before. And then I woke up just ready to go, and I was watching a bunch of like Gary V videos.
Who's Gary V?
He's this like entrepreneur businessman. You've probably seen his videos, but he just talks about like just basically being a badass and getting shit done.
You would watch shit like that.
On the day that I skydive, yeah. I mean, I do look up to him. I'd like to have lunch with him. So Gary, if you're listening,
Slides into Gary's DMs. Want to teach a Patreon listen?
he would be great.
I'm sure he would be.
But yeah, I had the words of Gary V, and I'm sure other people. I listened to like 2000s R&B the whole way. There was like Survivor and like Baby Boy by Beyonce and What's His Face. I was just pumping myself up, and then everything was good. And then right before we jumped, I was like, am I about to pass out? And then we jumped and everything was fine.
Did you go up with like a group of people, or were you by yourself?
So you go up there. The planes are constantly going. There's one plane, and I had to wait like 2 hours for it to be our turn. The plane is packed. It gets so hot in there. I was sweating my fucking ass off, and it takes like 20 minutes to get up. I forget how high you are, but it's like 5,000 feet. So it takes a long time to get up there, and you're just slowly seeing everything get smaller and smaller. And then they end up opening the doors once you're over 1,000 feet, I think, just to cool everything down. And on either side of the plane, there's these two long benches, because I went tandem. I had to be attached to somebody, obviously. And you're like attached to them. So you sit down and then just slide back. And it's like just it's like a line of people spooning.
Okay.
Essentially, just sitting. So it was a very personal, physically, emotionally, mentally experience.
Was your instructor nice?
Yeah, he was really nice. Troy has known him since like he had started skydiving there.
Okay.
So yeah, he was really cool. I was attached to him for a while. We talked about lots of things. He was like, "What's the craziest thing you've ever done before skydiving?" And I was like,
that's a good question. What did you say?
I talked about an instance on Beale Street that happened on Halloween.
Oh my God. I remember that.
I was like, that was more just reckless.
Yeah,
than,
that
like,
was
crazy.
incredibly reckless.
Yeah, that was like Bella Swan delusionally
that was
missing Edward.
That
reckless.
was the peak Edward is gone energy. And I followed you because I was like, well, I'm not going to let her fucking go by herself.
Yeah, so that was probably the craziest. I couldn't think of
thought
anything
we were gonna
else.
die.
Can you share what happened?
No.
Okay.
But that's what I said. I wouldn't have said it or even brought it up. Like,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry we can't tell you guys the whole story, but basically Hayley made a
just really
really
dumb.
stupid decision, and I had to fucking go with her, so she didn't fully die. So at least she had someone to die with her.
you're a real one. Maybe this is heaven. Did we die and this is heaven?
If this is heaven, actually, my life is pretty good. I don't want to like disparage my life right now.
But no, everything was fine. So I was like, now I finally have something to like actually that's like crazy and cool.
yeah. Now you have it. Now you have a two truths and a lie fact.
Yes,
That's good.
Precisely.
I think the craziest thing I've ever done, I don't know. This isn't even that crazy. Do you know what the Stratosphere is in Las Vegas? This is maybe just the closest thing I can think of to like skydiving that I've done. It's like a giant building, and there's like rides on the top, and there's one where like there's one where you can like jump off of it, and like you free fall, and then it slows you down at the bottom. You're like on a harness. I didn't do that because it was expensive, but I did one where like you are in like a roller coaster seat, and it like you fall off the building like in a roller coaster seat, and then like you stop and then just kind of like hover over Las Vegas, which like
cool.
isn't even that crazy. It's just like the closest thing to skydiving that I can think of that I've done.
Yeah, I would feel before that other thing, riding Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point was not even crazy. I was like, no, I'm never going to do that. Troy was trying to do it. He chickened out, and then I ended up doing it.
What's that?
Top Thrill Dragster, it's literally just like an upside down U. You just go up and then down, but it's so fast. It takes like 7 seconds max. And you just go so fast. Like people are known to pass out on that ride. And it just like, it's like within a blink of eye, you're up and then back down.
It's the tallest and fastest for like 2 decades. I think there's something in Dubai bigger now, but like forever it was the biggest and fastest.
Pretty intense.
That's cool. I fucking love roller coasters. Can we go to Six Flags?
Yeah. We should go to Six Flags over Atlanta.
In Atlanta, there's a closer one. There's one in like Arkansas.
Do we really want to go to Arkansas?
Or Kansas? But we could drive like 10 hours to Georgia or like 6 hours.
It's like 4.5, maybe 5.
Really? To Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah,
why
girl.
haven't I gone more places? We're so close to all these cities and I never fucking go anywhere.
Let's go to Atlanta.
Let's go to Atlanta. Yeah, I'm so down.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm back. I'm ready to record. I'm so excited. And I can never leave my cats again.
Yeah. Oh my God. I bet.
It's really sad.
I bet. Anyway, yeah, I just have like one more thing in my notes if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, we have a shout out, don't we?
I have a shout out for Amanda Chalquest of Little Rock, Arkansas for Patreon. She is now a Patreon supporter. And she was funny. She DM'd me the other day when she was listening to that episode when we were talking about cities we want to fight. And I said Little Rock. And she also wants to fight Little Rock because she lives there and says it fucking sucks. And she would leave if she could. So...
Well, there you go. And literally right before her shout out, I was just shitting on Arkansas. I don't have any real reason. I've never encountered Little Rock like y'all have, but there's a theme.
The best part of Little Rock is the West Memphis Animal Shelter.
That's Arkansas, not Little Rock.
Arkansas is what I meant to say.
Oh, her sobriety has left the building.
Bye.
Bye.
But yeah, if you're not following the West Memphis Animal Shelter on Facebook and you're missing Carrie's Facebook Lives, you are not living.
So good. So good. Like,
she is amazing.
I'm surprised they don't charge for you to get on their Facebook Lives. She's just so entertaining and fun.
She's so fun. She has like a thick Arkansas accent and she's so outgoing and funny and she just walks around and films the animals and talks about them. And if you follow them on Instagram, I forget what the other guy who works there, what his name is, but he like dresses the dogs in costumes and like makes little videos about them. It's so amazing. And that's where we got our cats.
Wow, you've recruited me. I don't follow them on Instagram, just Facebook.
You have to follow them on Instagram.
I must.
It's the best of both worlds, Instagram and Facebook. I wonder if they have to have a TikTok. If they don't, I need to call them and tell them.
You need to immediately. Yeah, we'll have to look it up.
They would thrive.
Right. There's that West Memphis Animal Shelter. Look at some cute pets. Maybe adopt one.
Yeah, if you're in the area. Anyway, but yeah, shout out to Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. And we breathalyzed.
We sure did. I blew a .021.
And I blew a .031. So I get to go first, motherfucker. Woo, 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 woo.
Finally, she's back on top.
I'm
where
back
she
on
belongs,
top.
Number 1.
I belong here. So, Hayley, if you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Oh, fuck. Oh my God. Oh no.
It's a lot of pressure.
Sushi. Definitely sushi from Cloud9 in Cincinnati.
Okay. Good deal.
As soon as I thought of it, it was so clear. But before that, I was like, lasagna, pizza. I don't know. Everything.
There's so many good choices.
What would you have?
I don't know. I like did this whole lesson on last meals and thought about it. And I honestly don't know. I think maybe just like keep it really comforting and simple, like a grilled cheese sandwich on sourdough with like steak fries and tomato soup. Just something super comforting because I'm about to be killed.
Yeah, just end your life like you live it.
Yeah.
Basic
bitch. Yes, that is me.
I would maybe try and do something like so that I could do it myself. If I knew they were going to kill me anyway, I'd be like, all I want is 80 gallons of water.
All I want is a little bit of cyanide and some tea.
Right. All I want is power back from you fuckers.
Yes. And some people do take some power back with their last meal, and we'll get to it. Before I start, I just want to say, like, of course, we are not making light of the death penalty. That is a tragedy that our country still practices, this barbaric practice. The chances of you being innocent and being put to death are just too high. And even if you're not innocent, like, that is cruel and unusual punishment.
Right. For such a Christian-based government, even though God and state are separate, yeah, well, that's kind of bullshit. But anyway, for people to feel like they can decide how and when people get to die.
Yeah, it's
there's so many issues.
It's fucked up on every level. So I just wanted to like put that out there before we get started. But let's get started. This is a lesson on last meals. Last meals are traditionally given to prisoners on death row. They typically eat their meal a day or two before their scheduled execution. And the PC term used in prison for last meals is special meal because that's what prison guards call them to make it sound a little less ominous to the inmates.
It feels more ominous to me to hear special meal. It makes me think I'm like putting a dog down, like, okay, it's your special day, your special meal.
It does seem like that.
Which is a privilege to think that special meal sounds less ominous than your last meal.
Yeah. I mean, but like sometimes it's not their last meal because sometimes it's given to them like 48 hours before. So it's like,
I would be so
mad
if
it's
special meal? I want to go out with some sushi.
Yeah.
Not some cafeteria.
Well, you could not eat your cafeteria food.
I'm not going to not eat. Come on.
Okay, well,
nice try.
And the thing about these special meals is that inmates are sometimes allowed to request what they want for their last meal. And this is just a tradition we have. There's no law that gives us this right to choose what the last thing we want to eat is. So, it varies how these last meals are given. Sometimes just because an inmate requests a last meal does not mean they will get it. And it really varies state by state and prison by prison.
What if there's someone listening right now who's like, that should be a law?
It should
and
be.
then they go to school to become a lawyer to make it a law.
Why don't they go to school and become a lawyer and abolish the death penalty? I think that's maybe where our priorities should lie.
Both. There's a transitional period. You can't just snip snap. There's a transitional period. People would freak out if you just abolished it, which I wish we could, but we've got to work on the last meal situation
that's
first.
True. I feel like a bipartisan issue would be everyone should get a last meal.
And then it escalates from there and it becomes like a universal law, like Newton's law. It's last meal.
It's like
law.
A war crime not to give someone
not
like
even
their
prisoners.
Sushi before.
Not even, like everyone. And then that leads to everyone just eating great all the time. By law.
Yeah, why don't by law we just give people food? Like nobody
why can't
should
people
starve.
just exist in the state of a being? Why can't people just exist without worrying about surviving?
The fact that like as a society we're like it's important to let people choose the last meal before we kill them, and that's agreed upon. But like what's not agreed upon is like children should have food and not starve. Like literally what?
Basic human needs.
Yeah. We have a long way to go.
They're like the government has blinders on, and then as soon as they're like, oh, that quote unquote criminal, let me get in there. Let me make sure you're taken care of. What do you want? So Red Lobster, you want some biscuits, you want some Olive Garden.
It is weird because like in a lot of ways, and like I have notes on this later on, but like self meals like are self-serving to the executioner a lot of times because like it alleviates some guilt being like, well, I'm gonna give you this meal before I kill you, like it's like it's not as generous as it seems. And
it
anyway,
seem generous at all.
There's a lot to this. So back to how it varies state by state. Virginia prisons have a 28-day rotating menu. So they let their prisoner request the last meal, but they have to choose out of the 28 things that are offered at the prison. And I couldn't find exactly what those 28 foods were, but I just looked up like some typical prison foods, and it includes things like chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, lasagna, burritos, tacos, and fish patties. So, like basic cafeteria kind of food.
Yeah, sounds like any school, any hospital, any nursing home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've all had that kind of food before. Well, maybe not prison food, but school cafeteria food. In Florida, last meals can be purchased from outside of the prison. You can request what you want, but it cannot cost more than $40.
Oh, I could go to town with $40.
Oh, easily.
DoorDash that bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What would your last meal be if you could have takeout for $40? So would you just get sushi?
I don't know. It's different to have sushi delivered. It's just different. You know, it can get soggy, especially if it's like one of the Americanized like deep fried rolls.
Yeah.
I'd probably still go sushi, but if I didn't go sushi, I would go Indian food, get some paneer masala, load up on the naan, get a samosa, get their like, what are those little dessert balls called? I forget, but they're fucking delicious.
Or the mango lassi.
Yes, I would get all of it.
Yeah, I'd definitely do some paneer masala, all the way spicy. And then my go-to like DoorDash food in college was Veggie Girls nachos.
Yum.
They're really fucking good. Oklahoma has the same policy as Florida. Like you can get food from a restaurant, but they cap it at $15.
That is rude.
I guess, but you can get a decent meal for $15. Like I'd get like a Red Robin burger.
What would I get to cap at 15? All my things, that would get me like a roll of sushi.
But when we went to that sushi place you like, it was so cheap.
But
had like a special.
That's revolutionary, fam. Is that what you're talking about here in Memphis?
Where we went together to get sushi when we were in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cloud9. They have half off prices, but even still, it's, I don't know. Sushi
like
can be pricey.
$4 a roll.
Maybe I would just go like balls to the wall and eat like McDonald's and just end up shitting myself to death.
Just eat all the McDonald's. Yeah, everything on the dollar menu.
One of everything. Maybe even two of everything.
Ooh, Taco Bell would be a good last meal.
That would. Yeah, that would definitely kill me. Yeah. If I got their meat, that would kill me in an instant. Let
me just get like the Chipotle salsa because I'm pretty sure that's what makes me sick. I'll just eat a gallon of that. That probably costs $15. And then I'll do it myself. Anyway, New York doesn't have capital punishment anymore. They abolished it in the 1970s. But before that, they allowed inmates both a last dinner and a last supper. So, for example, in 1960, murderer Henry Flakes ordered barbecue chicken, French fries, salad, bread rolls, butter, strawberry shortcake, whipped cream, 4 packs of cigarettes with coffee and milk and sugar for his last dinner.
4 packs of cigarettes.
Right? I'm like, maybe he like shared because like back in the olden days you could like share your meal with other prisoners. Maybe that's what he did.
Yeah.
But 4 packs seems like a lot for one sitting. It is a lot for one sitting. It doesn't seem like it. And then he also had a last supper, right? He got 2. So for his last supper, he got lobster, salad, butter, bread rolls, ice cream, a box of chocolate, 4 cigars, and 2 glasses of cola, and then again with coffee and milk and sugar.
I would absolutely commit to the coffee thing. Donuts, absolutely. We would get donuts like every Sunday. Me and my dad would go and like get loaded up on donuts.
Good maple bar.
Ooh.
Yum.
Is that a Seattle thing?
No,
Maple bar?
Maple bar is like the most typical donut.
I don't know what that is.
I didn't know that was the name of
what
it.
I can picture it. Like it's like the rectangular donut with the maple flavored frosting.
Okay, I can picture. I didn't know that it had a name.
Yeah.
I'm a vanilla sprinkle girl through and through.
Those are good. Or a Boston cream.
Well, no,
you don't like that?
Absolutely not.
What about my third? Maybe my second favorite, tied with the Boston cream, is the raspberry filled jelly one.
No. See, this is where I might have to end our friendship.
I don't like circle donuts.
I don't like biting into, and those are circles.
No, but like the ones with the hole in the middle.
I don't want to bite into something and not know what I'm gonna get.
And yet you go to Taco Bell.
I know what I'm gonna get in a different way, though.
What do you mean? What do you mean you like to bite into something and not know what you're gonna get?
I said I don't like to bite into it and not know. I don't want cream up in that bitch. I don't want jelly in there. I'd rather eat toast with jelly and cream on it. Why not get a bagel if you're gonna eat carbs with cream on it?
Why wouldn't you want a dessert filled with another dessert?
I'm very weird about things that are too wet, and those donuts are too wet. I need to have just a thin layer of icing on the top. Give me the sprinkle to cancel out the icing, and I'm good.
I'm all about the filling. Like, the heavier the donut, the more I want it.
I'm going to throw up. I understand. I fully respect people's opinions and beliefs about donuts. I wish I could be one of you. I wish I could. but I'm a donut.
What about, and this is my last donut tangent, what about at Krispy Kreme where they have just the frosting filled donuts?
No, I don't want anything in my donut.
What's wrong with you? That's fucked up.
So much.
Fucked up.
So much
Fucked
is
up.
wrong with me.
Anyway, in Texas, when last meals were allowed, they were cooked by the prison chef with ingredients they had at the prison. So you could make your request and the chef would basically do their best to accommodate you. For example, if you wanted filet mignon, which is a pretty common request, they probably don't have that at the prison. So you might get like a hamburger steak as the next best thing.
I would definitely do biscuits and gravy because chances of them having some type of meat, I guess, and flour and milk and butter.
I mean, yeah, they have a stocked kitchen. There's a lot of choices. One time an inmate wanted 24 tacos, but the chef was like, he's not going to eat 24 fucking tacos. So he gave him 2. And inmates
that's a major de-escalation.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, who is full off 2 tacos?
Yeah, I'd be like, let's start at 8 since you clearly want a lot. And then if you're ready for more, I'll make you more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how many tacos you need.
2 just seems like a fuck you.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Probably is. Anyway, inmates will sometimes request tobacco or alcohol with their last meals, and these are usually not granted, but in some cases they are. The most popular last meal request is a cheeseburger and fries. I'm on board with that.
Yep.
Popular requests also include steak, chicken, and ice cream. A prisoner can request that their choice remain a secret. Up until 2004, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice posted all the last meals on their website, and reporters, when they report on a capital punishment, on an execution, they'll typically include what the prisoner had in their last meal. And Texas no longer reports, or they stopped reporting pretty soon in 2004, what people had as their last meal because it was considered offensive. And Texas actually doesn't even offer last meals anymore because of a man named Lawrence Brewer, who was executed in 2011.
What happened?
I'll tell you. What if I was like, and that's all I know? Lawrence Brewer was a white supremacist. He had affiliations with the Confederate Knights of America and the Ku Klux Klan, and he was convicted of a extremely violent hate crime. He and his friends murdered a black man, James Beard Jr., in Jasper County, Texas. Quick content warning, because the next few sentences are pretty graphic. They beat up and tortured Beard before chaining him by the feet to the back of a pickup truck, and then they dragged him behind the truck until he was decapitated.
And people think that racism doesn't exist in America.
Right. Well, that's just that's purposeful stupidity to say that racism doesn't exist in America. You're right. And so he was sentenced to death by lethal injection for this in 1999. And then when 2011 came along and it was time for his execution, he requested the following meal: 2 chicken fried steaks with gravy and onions, 1 triple bacon cheeseburger, an omelet with cheese, ground beef, tomatoes, onions, bell peppers, and jalapenos, fried okra with ketchup, a pound of barbecued beef with a half a loaf of white bread, 3 fajitas, a meat lover's pizza, a pint of Bluebell ice cream, peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts on top, and 3 root beers. They accommodated him. They gave him everything he wanted. And when presented with his meal, Brewer refused to eat it and said he wasn't hungry.
Fuck this guy.
I know. Fuck him. And he never elaborated past that. So we don't know if this was a power trip or like maybe he actually like had his nerves because he was about to be executed and wasn't hungry. But either way, Texas was like, fuck you, dude. And then he ruined it for everyone. And they're like, we're not doing last meals anymore.
Oh my God. Okay. Fuck him for so many reasons.
Yeah.
But the last one in his life being going all out and getting it. I'm sure there were plenty of people who asked for a lot of things who didn't get those things.
And it's like, dude, like if anyone deserves to be put to death with like, which like nobody does, but like if someone was going to deserve it, it's you. Then you have to be the person that like is an asshole and ruins it for everybody.
He would.
He
fucking would.
Yeah, just the worst.
He was the kid in school who reminded the teacher about the homework.
Yeah.
Right before class ended. What? Yeah. No.
Definitely.
He sucks.
So we can assume that he was making some kind of statement. He was using his last meal to exert like one last bit of control in a situation where he had none. And this raises the question, do prisoners use last meals to make statements? They absolutely do. For example, convicted murderer Victor Fegur ordered a single olive with the pit still in it. And when he finished his olive, he put the pit in his pocket and requested that it remain in his pocket when he's buried. He possibly did this to seem like simple and pious, drum up some mystery, get attention. We still talk about it today, so it worked. Or maybe he knew that the olive symbolizes rebirth, and so he wanted to be buried with that olive pit. Others have asked for communion for their last meal or for religious purposes. Odell Barnes Jr. asked for justice, equality, and world peace. A common choice is foods that remind people of their childhood. And that's I think the kind of food that I would want, something just simple and comforting. A lot of people choose pizza, fried chicken, and fast food. It reminds them of simpler times. And last meals can also reveal a lot about the social class of people typically on death row. Really common requests are things like Burger King cheeseburgers or Domino's pizza. And it's typically people of low economic status that are put on death row, and their comfort foods reveal that. Some people want to try a food they've never had before. For example, at San Quentin, a Jewish inmate asked for his last meal to be a big kosher meal, but he wanted a ham sandwich on the side so he could try it one time before he died.
Okay, wow. Just wow.
Yeah.
I applaud, I guess, his willingness to try something new because I would never. Well, maybe not. Maybe I would if I had everything else that I wanted in addition to that new thing. But I wouldn't want just my final meal to be something I'd never tried. I wouldn't be like, give me some octopus. No.
You've never had calamari?
I have. That was a bad example. Have you?
Yeah.
Calamari's squid, though, in her defense. She said octopus.
But like sometimes isn't octopus also calamari? Or maybe not.
No,
Maybe.
It's not, you dumb
What
bitch.
what if you fry an octopus tentacle? That's not calamari.
Well, no. If calamari is squid, I don't know. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Maybe you guys got me on this.
Hold on, fact check is
We're
coming
like,
in.
finally, we got her on something.
I don't know.
Squid.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that.
What is something I've never tried? Bull testicles.
Okay, think of something not gross that you haven't tried that you'd want to try.
I try everything. I'm not afraid.
I know, but like
there's skydive.
There's
I'm
food,
different.
Hayley, but there's food that like maybe you haven't had access to. Like, I don't know. I've never tried durian, like the stinky Asian fruit. I'd kind of like to try that.
Yeah, I haven't either. So there we go. I would put durian on the side of my sushi, Aldo's pizza, Olive Garden situation I had going on.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
I'd be like, let me just get one of everything.
Yeah,
and they're like, from
just
where?
wanna try it.
I'm like, the world.
What if you were like, I want the best chef in every like region of the world?
Yeah, I need
to
a
cook me a
I need
meal?
a 3-star Michelin star chef.
Mm-hmm.
One from each restaurant.
Yeah,
to
every
make
restaurant.
me their favorite meal.
Yeah, I just want instead of a last meal, I want a last 5 years of meals where every Michelin star restaurant in the world makes me a meal.
Yeah, you got to live like you're dying, whether literally you're sentenced to death or you're just your average podcaster teacher duo.
Yep. Some people, like us, turn their last meal into a joke. Before being put to death in the gas chamber, Wilson De La Roy asked for an indigestion tablet as his last meal because soon he would have gas in his stomach.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Wasted opportunity. I see where they're coming from, but no, I'm not trying to go out on some Pepto.
I'm sure he also got a real last meal. Some people don't request a last meal at all. They just eat whatever the prison's serving that day. or they're given the default last meal of the prison, which was the case of Ted Bundy, who was executed in Florida. He declined a special meal, so he was given a medium rare steak, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast, milk, coffee, juice, butter, and jelly. And he didn't eat any of it.
It's the last meal special. Oh my God.
Yeah, they have a default last meal.
I feel like that would be on the unlisted menu at Waffle House.
Pretty much the last meal special.
Yeah. It's like, you know how Starbucks has a bunch of stuff that they don't have
the
on their
secret
actual menu? Yeah.
I want a unicorn drink and the last meal special.
Oh no. But fuck Ted Bundy.
Fuck Ted Bundy. There's been some academic research on what a person's choice of last meal says about them. Kevin M. Kiffin and Brian Wansing of Cornell University looked at 247 last meal recipients. And from them, 24 claimed they were innocent and 60 admitted their guilt and apologized for their crimes. The research,
a lot of people left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also people that say they're guilty and they're not sorry.
Yeah. Is that the remainder of
that?
them?
I think
so. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
At least we have 3 honest groups, maybe. The research found that those who believed they were innocent were 2.7 times less likely to request a last meal than people who admitted they were guilty. People who admitted guilt also on average ate 34% more calories of food for their last meal than the rest of the sample.
So basically they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
They never have. They never will.
Yeah, they're like, I killed people. I'm not sorry. I'm going to eat all the food.
That checks out.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Me either. And like, if you're innocent, you probably are just like, oh my God, like just get it over with. Like, I don't even care. Like, I'm just so devastated.
I'm so sick about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is awful.
So wrong.
Like, you're not going to patronize me with a last meal. Fuck you. You know?
Yeah. My God, my
heart. Fucked up. I know. Those who claimed innocence also requested significantly fewer name brand foods. So they weren't quite as like specific.
Not so flashy.
Yeah, exactly. Which, yeah, it's really sad because, I mean, as we know, there's a lot of people who are innocent and put to death.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of this begs the question, why are last meals offered? And last meals have a very long history. The Aztecs, Hurons, Romans, and Greeks all had some sort of last meal tradition for prisoners, which might be those on their deathbeds or human sacrifice victims, like just anyone who was about to die. Historically in France, those to be executed were given a glass of rum. In medieval Europe, prisoners were given last meals because the executioners didn't want them to return as a ghost and haunt them. They felt like by giving them a good last meal, they'd be less angry at them and less likely to come back.
It's like my grandma. All right, we're going to send you out on an empty stomach. Don't come back for a while.
Yeah, it's literally just trying to make them less mad at you, so you don't get haunted.
There's like guilt on both ends. If you confess you killed somebody, whatever, you're on death row for a reason, but also the executioner is feeling that too. And didn't convicted felons, they, at least in the US for a while, would live in the house of the executioner until it was time.
Sometimes, yeah.
I would hate that.
Oh yeah, that'd be the most
100% no.
Yeah.
You're like, I need a different job. How do I, can I talk to HR? This isn't working out.
Right. Who would want that? And speaking of like hauntings, that reminds me, you had your own little haunting last night in our house.
I think I did. It felt so weird. Okay, quick tangent.
Yeah,
quick.
I didn't hear about this.
Okay, so I had a dream and okay, for pretext, we have this whistling in the house that I've heard, you've heard, Kat, and now Alec, you've heard as well.
And house guests have heard it.
House guests have heard it. And I was sleeping last night, but it felt real. Like I wasn't sure if I was awake or asleep. And then I heard the whistling, and I wish that I could keep it in my memory so that I could do it again.
It's weird because it's a melody. Like someone who's good at whistling is whistling a melody, but then you can't remember the melody after it stops.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It was the strongest, loudest whistling I had ever heard last night. Like it felt like there was somebody right, like crouching down next to me, next to the bed. And I wasn't sure if I was sleeping or awake. And I turned to Tommy in what I think was my dream. And I was trying to be like, do you hear that whistling? Like I felt really groggy and tired, but as I was talking, nothing was coming out. I could like feel the air in like my throat and nothing was coming out, which like freaked me out. I like cleared my throat, tried again, nothing came out. And then I just tried to like be like, Tommy, or like I just tried to say something much louder and then nothing came out. And then I felt the sensation of screaming like in fear. And then I felt like I was launched almost into a dream world where I knew then that it was a dream because I looked out my window and there was a giant snake like just wiggling in the street. And there were several people observing it and it like just slithered away into the sewer. And then it felt like I kind of like got plopped back and like Tommy's alarm went off and I was awake.
So creepy. And we were talking about it today. Like, it seems like we have more of like hearing the whistling of our ghosts, like when we have house guests, because they stay in the guest bedroom upstairs. And like maybe like the ghost feels like there's like new people in their space. Because I feel like when we first moved in, we had like a lot of these experiences. Like maybe like the ghost was getting used to us. And now whenever we have a guest, like either the guest hears the whistling or we do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we had my friend Emmy come and stay with us. I think I don't think it was one of the times that Alec heard it, but anyway.
But she heard it.
Marissa heard it.
Yeah, okay.
Marissa heard it at that time. We heard it at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that they don't like guests or what, but it is more common when guests are there. So that was just freaky last night.
That's so freaky. Is that the first time you've heard the whistling?
No, I was the first person to hear. Or no, you were. You were the first person to hear.
I think I was the first person.
Yeah, because you were home alone.
Yeah, and I heard it when I was laying in bed, and it was the same thing. It sounded like it was someone right next to my ear.
Yeah, and then
I would like open my eyes and look around, like what the fuck, and then as soon as like I laid back down and closed my eyes, I'd hear it again.
Yeah, it was really scary how breathless I felt trying to vocalize anything last night. Like it felt so real.
That's really scary.
And just knowing that we have that whistler spirit in our house made me think that maybe I wasn't dreaming.
Yeah.
Or that maybe it's like a weird Twilight Zone type deal going on.
Like in between. Ooh, creepy.
Yeah. If you're listening and you have any spooky stories, we want to hear them.
Send them our way. Why not? Traditionally, prisoners who were put to death by firing squad were offered a last cigarette before death. And this was a compassionate gesture, but also served the purpose of calming them down and making them more cooperative.
There was that show, 1,000 Ways to Die, where they told about a group of men who were put to death by firing squad. And the firing squad was so bad that they just completely missed one guy, but he died of a heart attack.
Oh my God. That's tragic.
Yeah, there were no bullet holes in him or anything.
Oh my God. 1,000 Ways to Die. I was just talking about that show the other day. What a weird show.
So weird. I feel like most of it was just made up, but
yeah,
there's some improbable, but I'm sure experienced ways to die on that
It's
show.
like a show that should have been a podcast. Like,
yeah,
because they didn't really have any visuals. Like they would just like show like those sketches.
Yeah, people acting it out.
Yeah, yeah. Same with Drunk History. Like I love Drunk History, but it works better as a podcast.
So true.
Yeah,
so true.
Anyway, in 16th century England, the inmate would share a meal with their executioner, kind of like what you were talking about, how they would live together. And I didn't come across anything about them living together in this, but like sharing a meal with your executioner was very common throughout history.
I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad. I wouldn't want to share a meal with them.
Yeah, me either. I mean,
with anyone, really.
The prisoner, I think, was allowed to decline if they wanted to, but it was like, do you want a good meal and you'll eat with your executioner?
Yeah, you're like, hey, we're both about to go through this trauma together.
Exactly.
Why don't we bond a little first?
That's exactly what it was. And this tradition was carried on into the American colonies. And like you said, it's sort of like a reconciliation. Like you are eating together and you're kind of both asking for forgiveness and making peace. Like the criminal probably committed the crime, so they need to make peace with that. And the executioner is about to kill them, so they also need that forgiveness.
Yeah, eating together is such an intimate thing.
Yeah, and it also has religious implications because you're metaphorically and literally breaking bread together, much like Jesus did by inviting Judas to the Last Supper. And last meals in general are, a lot of people argue, are an allusion to the Last Supper. And this kind of makes sense because this religious association might be why last meals are such an important tradition in the United States. There's a strong correlation between how Christian a state is and the number of people they put to death.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, and that is a positive correlation in case there is any confusion.
Whoa.
Yeah. And also the most lavish last meals typically correlate with the states that execute the most people, with the exception of Texas. Texas executes by far the most people, but they don't do last meals anymore.
Right. But if they did...
Yeah,
maybe
they might be. But I mean, I don't even think so because before they stopped doing last meals, they didn't let them have whatever they wanted. It was whatever the prison could make.
Okay. Well, Texas, you're cheap.
Yeah. But yeah, I just want to state one more time. The most Christian states kill the most people. And
so weird. It seems like there's religion and government mixing and
hypocrisy.
Seems like hypocrisy is like
so much hypocrisy.
There. Wait a minute. Yeah. Are we on to something?
I think we just cracked.
I need to do more major breakthrough. Wait, before I say anything definitive, let me do some research. Yeah.
And like we kind of talked about earlier, offering prisoners last meals might be a way for prison admin to alleviate some of their guilt. To this day in Louisiana, Warden Bill Kane still invites death row inmates to have their last meal with him and his guests as an act of Christian fellowship. And so it's kind of a way for these Christian leaders in the church to break bread and feel like they're absolved of this act of breaking the 10 Commandments and killing someone.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight for your right to maybe live out your life in prison and not kill you, but you can come to my house, which I'm sure is nice because prison is for profit most of the time. And it's fucked up. I have no words.
It's very fucked up.
I'm not even really drunk, and I'm slurring my words because my mind has so many things to say.
There's a lot to say. So, Christianity is a big reason why the tradition of last meals is so prevalent in the United States. Other countries have last meals too, but I think the United States puts more of a spotlight on this tradition. But I'm going to go over a few last meals in other countries. So, German murderer Matthias Niesel requested 6 glasses of beer before dying by guillotine in 1902. Freddie Budiman was executed in Indonesia by firing squad in 2016 for his possession of narcotics.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And he requested a homemade meal of fish cakes made by his ex-mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Burn.
Oh, yeah. Did she do it?
I think so. He was on this list. Adolf Eichmann was a Holocaust war criminal, and he died by hanging in Israel in 1962. And he just requested a bottle of red wine.
I can get with that.
Same. I don't want to have anything in common with the Holocaust war criminal, but I'd probably also request a bottle of red wine.
Yeah, that I would. That's reasonable.
Yeah. Good job making one good choice in your life.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. There we go. Everything else. Go to hell.
Yeah. Serial killer John Martin Scripps was executed by hanging in Singapore in 1996, and he requested pizza and a cup of hot chocolate. Which is a good choice.
Interesting combo.
It's a good choice. It sounds comforting.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I would eat when I was in 3rd grade.
Yes.
Which is comforting.
Comforting.
Before life happened.
Yes. I'm going to end just by listing a few other notable last meals. Quick content warning, because I'm also going to describe a few of their crimes. Some of them are graphic. Robert Dale Conklin was executed in 2005 after killing a man by sticking a screwdriver in his ear and
I thought you were going to say penis. I 100% thought you were going to say
How
penis.
would you murder someone by sticking a screwdriver up their penis?
How would you not murder someone when you stick a screwdriver
That
up
would
their
not
penis?
kill someone.
Maybe it was rusted. Maybe he got infected.
Dies of tetanus after having a screwdriver shoved up his penis.
It's the biggest screwdriver known to man. He's like screwdriver versus screwdriver. It was a
oh my god,
it was a passionate crime.
A crime of passion. Oh my god, no! He stuck the screwdriver in his ear and then twisted it around. Like he gave him a lobotomy, basically.
Oh my god!
And then he dissected the body and put parts of it down a garbage disposal. And he got to have a last meal. He ate filet mignon wrapped in bacon. He had shrimp and garlic butter and lemon, a baked potato with butter, sour cream, chives, bacon, and bacon bits, corn on the cob, asparagus with hollandaise sauce, French bread with butter, goat cheese, cantaloupe, apple pie with vanilla bean ice cream, and iced tea.
That was so much. That sounds like my grocery list.
I know. He got way too much. Like,
yeah, I would have given him a screwdriver drink, and I would have laughed my way.
That's what you
all
should
the way
have asked
home.
for. I mean, he still made the list of notable last meals, but if he had asked for a screwdriver, that would have been so much better.
Right. Like you just self-reflect for a second.
Right. He
he
was probably on death row for a long time. He could have thought about this more.
Yeah. Stupid idiot.
Rude. Also, like, who requests asparagus in their last meal?
I like asparagus. If I was going for a filet mignon, I would do asparagus with it.
I like asparagus. Like, if it's given to me as a side, like, I'll eat it, but I would never choose it.
It pairs well with meat, and you don't eat meat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thomas J. Grasso was executed in 1995 after he murdered an elderly couple. He ate 2 dozen steamed mussels, 2 dozen steamed clams, a double cheeseburger from Burger King, a half a dozen barbecue spare ribs, 2 strawberry milkshakes, half a pumpkin pie with whipped cream, diced strawberries, and a 16-ounce can of room temperature spaghetti and meatballs.
How though? How?
He probably didn't eat all of it, but that's what he got.
Right. He just had a little bit of this, little bit of that. Okay.
Yeah. This is notable because after his meal, he complained about it. He said, "I did not get my SpaghettiOs. I got canned spaghetti, and I want the press to know this."
Okay.
The press also knows you killed an elderly couple, sir.
Yeah, he's like, let's forget about that previous thing. What I want to go out on is that I didn't get my fucking SpaghettiOs.
He wanted the name brand. He wanted the SpaghettiOs, and instead they gave him canned spaghetti. Honestly, I'd be mad too.
Honestly, he deserves it.
True.
Both can be true.
He deserves not to get his last meal. I'll say that. John Wayne Gacy opted for
We know
fried.
that guy.
We know him. He got fried shrimp, a bucket of KFC original recipe chicken, fries, and a pound of strawberries.
Okay. Meat and fruit.
Meat and fruit.
I don't know why that's funny, but it's funny. Meat and fruit.
He did have fries, so he had a carb.
Okay.
He wasn't keto. Actually, fries keto? No, I don't think so. Anyway, who cares? Anyway, murderer Gerald Lee Mitchell just asked for a bag of Jolly Ranchers. Stupid choice.
Yeah. Terrible.
At least get Starbursts. Philip Workman asked for a vegetarian pizza to be donated to the homeless.
Oh.
And if you think back to my Dr. O.C. Smith lesson, Philip Workman is the man who was wrongfully executed because of fucking Dr. O.C. Smith.
Oh, thank you for connecting that.
Yeah.
Because I was not going to.
I didn't connect it either. Well, I did because I was doing this lesson. I was like, Philip Workman, like, I think that's the guy. Yeah, I went back into my notes on O.C. Smith. So I'm pretty sure that's the same guy because it said he was convicted or he was executed in Nashville. And it sounds like he's innocent, like we thought, because he didn't eat his last meal.
Freaking donated.
Mm-hmm. And get this, the prison denied his request. So like human rights groups went out and did it for him.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. At least we can lean back on people who can pick up where people suck sometimes.
It's like, fucking really?
Why?
Yeah.
If he would have been like, donate 20 filet mignons and this and that and all this and that to the homeless, they would have been like, okay.
But he literally asked for one vegetarian pizza.
They're like, just man up and get the meat.
Yeah, they're
we
like fucking vegetarians.
Yeah.
This is Tennessee. We eat barbecue. We eat hot chicken.
We eat hot chicken and lots of dairy.
Yeah.
Got milk, bitch.
One last one. James Edward Smith requested a lump of dirt. This request was denied, and he was given a cup of yogurt instead.
Let the man have dirt.
Let him have his dirt. He probably had pica.
Probably. Or he was trying to make a statement.
Probably that, but
maybe both. How are we supposed to know?
Could have had
no
both.
way to know.
I think that's a power move. Imagine looking your executioner in the eye and just eating mud.
Yeah, wait, what was his crime?
I don't know. He was
probably
a
murder.
Probably.
Yeah. That checks out. It checks out.
He's an absolute psycho.
There are some things that just make sense in this world. And being a murderer and having dirt as your last meal is one of them.
I'm surprised they didn't give him the dirt.
We need to have universal laws. One of them being a last meal law. The second one being murderers get dirt. It's 2 levels to it. It's the last meal law part A. Everyone gets a dope ass last meal. And then part B is that murderers get some dope ass dirt. Maybe some worms in there.
What are we saying? You can have a last meal and dirt.
Yeah, like chocolate pudding with like crumbled Oreos with the gummy worms.
Okay, mud pie.
Give me some dirt.
Yum.
Yeah.
We need to make that.
We should.
Yum.
We actually should. It's not like we don't need to say we're going to make it, but like we need to commit and do it.
Did you ever make Jell-O aquariums where you put like the nerds as the aquarium gravel and Swedish fish as the fish and blue Jell-O, and then it looks like a little aquarium cup?
All of those things I could not care about at all.
Even when you were a kid?
Things. Yeah. I mean, I would eat nerds, but they would like hurt my teeth.
Yeah,
and
they
I'd
do
be
hurt
like,
your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That sounds fun.
It is fun. It's very cute. My sources are prisonresource.com, slate.com, murderpedia.org, theringer.com, History is now magazine.com, Wikipedia, and ranker.com. That's my lesson on last meals.
Thank you. You've given me so much to think about. Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. We'll see you in a second.
Bye.
Somebody sometime once said, if you don't believe in yourself, then who will? This week, I'm going to talk about night classy gear because I love it personally. I think it's really cute. And not only that, but I feel like I have something that, I mean, I like to support local brands. Of course, that includes ourselves. But I feel like I always have something to wear because on our website, we have so many different options between t-shirts, stickers, sweatshirts. There's something for everyone.
Literally, because we have that like basic black night classy tee that has like our logo in white. And when that's dirty, I don't know what to wear. It's like my comfort shirt that I go to, and like I cropped mine, so it's like cute. I wear it with some gold chains. And yeah, it literally, it's my comfort article of clothing. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do. We have something for everyone. If you're a little spicier than I am, we have a hot pink Hose for Science t-shirt with alcohol molecules. Or if you just want to rep on your water bottle or your laptop, we have really cute stickers. We have a Magic School Bus, Night Classy, Learning Journey sticker, and iridescent stickers, all kinds of stuff.
Right. So if you like our podcast, you enjoy listening to us, you'll probably like our merch too. It helps support the podcast. We've really thought out exactly what we want to put out as far as merch goes. So we've put a lot of heart into it. I'm sure you put a lot of heart into listening and supporting us. So if you want to take it a step further than listening, which we appreciate you so much, like just the baseline of listening to us. But if you want to take that extra step, check out our website. Maybe even check out Patreon because patrons can get extra discounts. Yeah, I was trying to think of extra time, like early releases to merch and things like that.
That too.
So if you'd like to support us, please do. We fully support you, fully supporting us, and part of that is checking out our merch. See if it talks to you, if you like it.
If you're waiting for a sign, this is your sign.
This is your sign. Go do it. Love you guys.
Bye. Love you.
Welcome back, everybody. I know I just mentioned Patreon and I get to do it again because our lesson for my class comes from one of our patrons, Jacob Krieg. I want to shout him out because he is a Patreon supporter and he's at the level where he got to pick a topic for us. So if you also want to pick out a topic for us to research and teach on, check out Patreon, see what there is to see. And Jacob Krieg, I think that's how I say your name. I'm not really sure, but I'm just going to call you Jacob. I wish that I could do Patreon topics forever sometimes because they just get me so outside of my comfort zone and my own realm of interest. And they're always interesting topics, but it's always something that I never would have thought of. So shout out to you, Jacob. He chose the topic of hacking. And when I first saw this topic, I definitely wondered how I would approach it, but thankfully he gave me a lot of ideas and I learned so much. So let's get into it.
I'm like a little bitter that it's your turn to do a Patreon episode because I felt like if I had done this one, this would be my retribution for how shitty I covered Blue Adept and the fucking
it could have been a comeback.
Not the dark web, whatever it was.
Mariana's
web. And so I'm just a little bitter. And also Jacob himself told me that was the worst episode we've ever done. So thanks. He did it in a nice way. It was not mean at all. Like he was saying that like all our episodes are great, but that one was
not the best,
which we already knew.
Yeah, we knew that. And that's okay. We live, we learn.
We do.
And that's just a part of doing things. That's part of living, I guess.
It really is. So consider this our victory lap.
Don't call it a comeback. All right. So the term hacking, it can be tracked to it can be tracked back to the 1200s. And it's the sound a dog makes when they've eaten too much grass. It's like...
It's like when Georgia walked in the room the other day and just hacked at you and Tommy and then turned around and walked out.
Right. Yeah, we're just watching TV. She hacks one time and leaves. We're like, okay.
That's how she feels about you.
Right. Yeah. So hacking can happen a lot of different ways to a lot of different animals. Sometimes it's when they eat grass. Sometimes it's when they eat other things that they're allergic to. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
She completely misinterpreted. I'm like, why are you even talking about the Blue Adept episode? That has nothing to do with hacking. Anyway, hacking actually can't be traced back to the 1200s. It was not used in technology until much more recently, obviously. Before then, it was like you're hacking with an axe at someone or something so you can get that sweet last meal. But one of the first times it was used in technology was in the 1960s. At MIT, they have their Tech Model Railroad Club. And the first time that people ever hacked something was when these members hacked their trains to make them perform better and go faster beyond what they were programmed to do. This was like Thomas the Train was an MIT boy.
I can't imagine anything more boring than a model train competition.
Right. You have to hack it. Just for the entertainment.
For something.
Yes.
Like, please cheat. Put your train on steroids so that this is actually maybe interesting to me.
Jack that boy up and let's see who can get the most wild and still win.
You thought NASCAR was boring? Come watch a train competition. Not even trains, model trains.
We need to hack it so much that it's not even a race between these model trains. I want to see a drag race between model trains. I want there to be lashes on the trains. I wanted them to be just completely decked the fuck out.
See, I was picturing a train-themed drag show where...
That too!
the models were dressed as trains, the performers.
The models are dressed as trains, and they do their thing and announce and comment on the actual train.
Yes. Or the trains are dressed like drag queens and the drag queens are dressed like trains and everybody competes.
Yes. It's man versus man versus train. Queen versus train. Humankind. Yeah. Queen versus train, whatever. Blurred lines.
Blurred tracks.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The only tracks we should be seeing are those on the train.
And the specialty drink will be a sidecar.
Oh, okay. I think we just created a new show. And also like child's book.
Someone get RuPaul and Thomas the Train. RuPaul and Thomas the Train both need to pick up the phone right now.
Collaborate. That's what we need. They were so close at MIT, but yet so far away. Also, initially, hackers were referred to as crackers. Because they would break, aka crack software and bypass securities in the program, not because of like their race, and also not because of a food type. Today, hacker is that because they're still bypassing securities in programs and technology, but add a little spice because it does tend to have, at least in my experience, a more negative connotation. Like being a hacker seems like it can be used for good and bad, but
it all sounds illegal.
It all sounds illegal, yes. So cracking technology would later expand from trains into computers, and the objective was to really test the limits of programs that already existed in technology and were put out there, rather than just seeing if they could get past the security. And that's how things evolve. If you look up hacking, you'll learn about one of the original hackers of technology. In 1971, this guy named John Draper used John Draper. German Schnout. What? His name is my name too.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, you uncultured swine.
It's not him though, it's the generic brand. It's John Draper.
John Draper, Jerp.
Yes, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So this guy, he used the toy whistle that came in the box of Captain Crunch cereal to hack the phone lines, because at that time, phone lines used analog frequencies to do different things. And the frequency, the hertz that the whistle and the Captain Crunch boxes gave off allowed him to get international and long distance calls for free.
Wow.
This technique is now known as phreaking with a PH.
Wow.
I know. If that doesn't turn you on, then I don't know what will.
Getting ready. Did you think this episode was our 69th? It's next week, Hayley.
Steve Wozniak, who I personally don't know who he is, even after looking him up, but apparently he's a big name, and Steve Jobs were notorious phone freakers themselves.
Who did they need to call in another country?
Ghostbusters. Anyone. Because, like, why would you not call people internationally if you're going to get it for free?
Yeah, but, like, I wouldn't know who to call.
I would just dial a random number. I think.
What would be a number in another country?
8675309. I'd be like, is this Jenny?
Do you remember the Soulja Boy's number? Like the one where he's like, text me, you know that I miss you. I wanna get with you. Like the kiss me through the phone number.
Soulja Boy?
I thought it was. Wasn't that Soulja Boy?
I don't know.
And in that song, I think there's a phone number.
Kiss me through the phone.
And maybe I'm like totally off, but I remember in middle school when like that song was popular and there was a phone number in that song and you could dial that phone number. And it was obviously not Soulja Boy's phone number, but
678-999-8212.
Yes. 679-8212, baby. You know that. And you could dial that and it would like be like a Soulja Boy hotline.
Well, dang. If only that would have existed in the 70s. That would have been perfect. I don't know why they don't mention freaking on the phone in songs like that. Seems like a missed opportunity.
Oh, yeah. That's like an edgy like reference that like you'd be rapping and talk about freaking on the phone. Like, like I'm Steve Jobs. And everyone's like, what does that mean? I don't know what it means, but it's provocative. And then it's like an obscure reference.
Dude, I got so many references and rap songs that I've heard 1,000 times after watching The Godfather.
Really?
Yes.
Like
they're all
what?
talking about being Don Corleone, who's like the head of the family. And I just never got that. So I feel like I need to be more cultured, but at least I know about phone freaking now and Don Corleone. Shout out to you, Michael. All right, so that was in the 70s. Let's move on to the 80s. Computers are more accessible now, more than ever. Still not super accessible, but if you're interested in them, you can definitely get to them, which creates more hackers. And there's a shift in the type of hacking. Before, many hackers would hack the computer in order to improve it. But in the 80s, we saw the shift where it was taking a turn for a more self-serving situation going on, such as pirating software, creating viruses, and breaking into systems to lift private information. Robert Morris was one of the first internet hackers, and he was definitely the first internet hacker to gain a lot of attention in 1989. He created this computer worm that his main goal was to figure out how big the internet was at the time. And I'm not even going to pretend like I know exactly how this thing worked. But basically, this worm went out and it affected 10% of the computers that were on the internet at the time, which was only 6,000. But at the time, like 10% of computers were infected with this. I don't know if it was a virus, but they just kept calling it a worm. And I think the goal is to see like how many different connections it made. It caused some issues. Robert said that he never intended to harm anyone and that the worm shouldn't have caused any issues or even been visible. There were huge issues.
And the worm is just like, merp.
I'm a worm.
I'm a worm.
I'm a worm. It starts excessively copying itself. So basically, it's like a cancer, and it creates a lot of system loads on computers, which is bad for the computers. And the computer's like, this is heavy. I don't want to carry this anymore. And he gets in a lot of trouble. He was the first person indicted and convicted under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1986. So he was in big trouble.
Bad boy.
In the 90s and beyond, we see a lot of hackers coming about. There are definitely more notorious hackers. I don't want to spend all of our time talking about all these different things that people did, but I will talk about two of them. So Kevin Mitnick, he was at the University of South Carolina, and he was a hacker. He gained access to ARPANET, and that was, from what I understand, kind of like the internet, but it was used by really big companies, universities, and the military in the US. So when he got into ARPANET, and maybe it's ARPANET, I don't know. But anyway, it provided him with access to the Pentagon, all of the Department of Defense's files, and he didn't actually steal any data, but he was in that bitch.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Sounds bad.
Uh-oh.
Did he turn himself in? He's like, okay, I have access to this.
He didn't turn himself in. He like got caught somehow, and then I think he was one of the people who ended up helping like the FBI and everything, like see where there were like pitfalls.
The weak points are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because a lot of hackers do end up doing that.
Yeah.
Vladimir Levin, he was the first person to illegally take money from a major bank. This was in 1994. Basically, he got access through hacking to a bunch of accounts, and they included usernames and passwords with Citibank's customers. And he just transferred himself a bunch of fucking money, like $10.7 million.
Jesus. That makes me think, can you steal cryptocurrency by hacking?
I'm sure you can. I don't know. We will talk about cryptocurrency in this lesson, but it wasn't stolen.
Okay.
But I don't know. That's a good question. So yeah, as we can see, things are getting more and more complicated. They're not just talking about freaking on the phone or making their trains go faster. People are stealing millions and millions of dollars. The Secret Service in the US does get better at catching these hackers. And a common thing we see is that once one hacker gets caught, they were so quick to snitch on the rest of the hackers. They would instantly like snitch on each other. And in the 2000s,
snitches get roses.
Yeah, we learned that this week for sure. I guess we should have seen that coming with Katie.
Oh, of course. I mean, she's Queen Snitch.
I would like to think that I wouldn't be a snitch, but it's hard to say.
I mean, like, I understand why Katie did it. I'm not trying to shit on her, but like, it never bodes well in these kind of shows, except in Katie's season,
because it's like exactly what the producers want to happen. They need to kick up enough drama.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I'm sure the producers pressure them to snitch, but it's like you're spending your time. We're talking about The Bachelor, by the way. But you're spending your time talking about another guy when you could spend your time talking about your relationship. I don't know.
Stay in your lane.
It just seems like an odd choice.
I agree. All right. Back to hacking. In the 2000s, it starts to look more like what I picture hacking to look like. Just a fun little tidbit. And I don't have much more information because I didn't want to go through all these individual cases of crazy hacking. But the Department of Defense and International Space Station was hacked by a 15-year-old boy. And he figured out how NASA does what they do.
15-year-olds
are evil.
Are evil
and genius.
And genius was what I was going for. And have poor judgment. So they're going to use that genius in interesting ways.
Yeah. There's no way to limit what they're going to try and do. Yeah.
But my freaking 11-year-olds know how to like hack into like the program we use iReady and like change their scores on that and make it look like they passed more lessons than they did.
For their parents to see?
For me to see.
System? What?
My last year, I used to give out, if you finish an iReady lesson and passed it, I'd give people a piece of candy. And they figured out how to hack into it and make it look like they passed a lesson, and they'd get a piece of candy even though they didn't pass a lesson.
You gotta do it for
I
the
got
candy.
wise to it, and like I can like see the correct one in my system, but like they were able to make it show up on their screen like they passed a lesson.
Oh my gosh.
And honestly, I was impressed. I'm like, here's all the candy. Like, this is more useful.
This is what I was looking for. The ingenuity.
Right. It's honestly impressive. I could not be mad. I was like, wow.
Yeah, you're like, snitches don't get candy, but cheaters do. What can I say?
I mean,
it's a tough world. You have to learn sometimes.
Knowing
somehow.
how to code might be more important than knowing how to do bar graphs in today's world.
No, it's pretty important to still like look at data and analyze it.
Oh, definitely. But like whatever they were doing in iReady, like, is important.
Coding is important.
Yeah. But coding is also important. I was impressed.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I do it for the candy.
Yeah.
There are different types of hacking, which is something that Jacob brought up in his message. There's physical, modding, and software hacking. Physical hacking is, to me, I see it as the caveman's way of hacking. It's when hackers physically gain access to a computer. It can be done by literally walking in with a piece of, or walking away with a piece of equipment, or just being more sneaky and like plugging in your hardware to a keylogger, which is, for example, it's just a USB looking type thing, but it tracks everything that you type. So that includes passwords. They're really easy to find that way. So it's like, that's like an earlier on way of hacking, that physical side. Modding is when you, for example, modify a game. Have you heard of modding?
Yeah. I've heard of like modding like your Android. Like you can go in and like hack in your Android and make it do more things.
Yeah, like unlocking your iPhone or your, what is it called? Like your Roku, so that you can get all the different VPNs.
Yeah.
that's modifying it. You're changing it. You're adding something new to the game or the system. And a lot of times, if we're talking about video games, a video game's code is not public for the taking. So you do need to hack the program.
Motherlode.
Yes, in order to modify it, you have to enable testing cheats true so that you can get your motherlode on. Which, if you're not doing that in Sims, what are you actually doing? It was so miserable. It's like miserable to play the game and have all the money, but it's also miserable to be broke and actually have to make the money.
Just like real life.
It's real life.
It's miserable all the way around.
You have to find happiness in something else. And for me in Sims, I think my favorite occupation was artist. I love to just make them a professional by just speeding it up, enabling all of their, needs to be met constantly. So they're just getting really good at art. And I wish.
Wow,
that
what
we
a
could do
metaphor.
that in real life. Yeah, I mean, it's still so unrealistic. Okay, back to modding. It's illegal to modify a game it is legal to modify a game unless you're making money from it and it's explicitly declared illegal. But it's also different from hacking a game's anti-piracy software, and especially then if you make money from it. So there's a line to walk with modding. And then lastly, there's software hacking. This is exploiting a computer system or a network. There are zero-day hacks, which is basically where a company's system has vulnerabilities in it no matter what. They're never going to be perfect, and they don't even know that a lot of these holes in their system exist. So something called a black hat hacker, which we'll talk about, they're like the bad guys, black hat, white hat deal. They use these zero-day hacks on companies because they think that they can make money this way. So they don't even know that these ways into their programs exist. And then they'll help them point out these vulnerabilities in their program, or they'll just take them for ransom and be like, I'll give you your system back if you give me money.
Nice.
There's a lot of other types. I'll go through them lightly. I want to talk very quickly about how hacking works. One of the main ways in today's day and age is social engineering. This is easily the best, easiest way to hack someone. And it's really just pretending like you're someone that you're not. So just like a few months ago, you got the text of someone acting like they were your friend from Seattle being like, what would you use as your password? I'm trying to think of things. So
yeah.
That's used so often and so many people fall for it.
Yeah.
The second way that hacking works is program-based hacking, and that's just where they find the vulnerabilities and they hack in that way. And physical access, which is the physical software plugging in that USB. I want to talk specifically about something called DDoS attacks because they've become extremely common and popular since the 2000s. And in this, we will learn about the Colonial Pipeline hacking that happened back in May. Do you remember when people were freaking out about gas and gas prices spiked?
I remember people buying a bunch of gas.
It was because of that.
Okay.
It was because of a hacking. Okay. Which we'll get to. Okay.
Wow, I had no idea.
I didn't either.
And gas prices didn't even go up. At least not in our area, did they?
They didn't, but I know in Ohio, my mom and Troy were like, oh my gosh, we had to get gas because it kept rising and everyone was panicking because there was a gas shortage because of hacking that had happened.
Wow.
I know.
I love how crazy stuff will happen in this world, and as human beings, and I am including myself in this, are so self-absorbed. We don't even care. I was wow, everyone's freaking out buying gas. And then I didn't even look up why. I was just that's weird.
Yeah, that's so true. I was wow, something must be happening with the economy.
It's but I don't care.
It's a mystery. Yeah. I'm I hate capitalism. I don't even want to learn.
It's if I don't have gas, I don't have gas. Then I get to stay home.
Yeah, such a bad attitude, but also it kind of worked out. Yeah. So that all happened because of a DDoS attack. It stands for a distributed denial of service attack. They're distributed because they're widespread. They're widespread. They're coming from a lot of different computers. And the attack is denying people who just want to use a website. So if you went to Instagram and it was taking forever to load, that could be a denial of service attack.
Okay.
The way they work is essentially the virus that is created by the hacker gets into a bunch of different computers, and then in the background, all of these computers are flooding the server or the website or the network with internet traffic. And the goal is just to overwhelm the system so that it can't even function. So basically, there are a bunch of different computers that have been hacked, and this virus keeps on spreading, just like the worm almost we talked about earlier. And they're all working together. They're called zombie computers because they're like just this host to this greater virus. Anyone and everyone is a target. If you're on the internet, there's a good chance that your computer has one of these on it right now. What? And that's really scary. Yeah, there's no good way to know. And there are a lot of different types of hackers. So there are hackers who build the programs. There are people who control them. There are the ones who make kits so that other people can access these programs.
I want to be those guys.
The one who make the
ones
kits.
that makes
You're
the
like,
kits.
I know, it's like those Instagrammers you see, like those people who make their partners lunches, and it's like all put together so cute. You're like, okay, here's your malware.
It's like
here's your virus.
It's like a hacker MLM. Like, I'm at the top of the pyramid. I'm going to make the kit for other people to hack.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. It's so insane. And I would go through all of these specific titles, but I don't want to get all washed down in like the specifics. All you need to know is that, yeah, it's like an MLM. And they are boss babes. Boss hacker babes. BHBs.
Burped.
Boobs. Different hackers have different motivations. They're complex human beings. Imagine that. There are extortionists they're the ones who send the ransom notes to random websites that they're the ones who are just threatening to block the website unless they get paid. They're targeting mostly small businesses and websites, but a lot of the time they just ask for the ransom without actually doing anything. They're like almost all talk, but who knows if they could do it.
Yeah.
There are script kiddies.
That's cute.
I know, right? Like if I got a tramp stamp, it would probably be script kitty.
Really?
Yeah, I would never get a tramp stamp. But if I did, I think I could commit to the hypothetical idea of having script kitty.
It sounds like a Pokemon, script kitty.
It does. Yeah, like a little hacker, but also like kind of sexy Pokemon. Yeah. Can Pokemon be sexy? Is that problematic?
They can definitely be sexy.
Alec is nodding a little too eagerly.
It's true. It's true. They Pokemon Go just put out like a new like region of Pokemon, and there's a cat on there. What's her name?
It's a bunny.
A bunny. Look up her name because Alec. She was a very sexy bunny, and we were both like, there's definitely
Jessica Rabbit.
No, but she looks like Jessica bunny. Rabbit. And we're like, there is a subreddit of porn made of this Pokemon. And so we went on Reddit and typed in her name, and sure enough.
Oh my God.
Here she
Lupani?
is.
Lupani? Oh,
she's sexy.
Yeah. She's got those quads.
She was
those, like,
made she was made for furry porn. Look at her. That's a fan art. But
but still, look at her. And it's like, I guess those are her ears or something, but they almost look like they just like outline like her whole being.
Yeah, it outlines her, and it looks like she has like long blonde hair, but it's her ears. And she's curvy, and she like holds up her hands by her, like up above her chest, but then like she has like this poofy fur around her hand, so it almost looks like boobs.
Yeah, if Cardi B were a Pokemon, that might be it.
But yeah, Pokemon can definitely be sexy. That's the bottom line.
Why didn't you talk about that in your Pokemon lesson? I feel wrong.
There was a lot to talk about. I didn't want to go there.
That's so true. Well, I'm glad we got there now. Script Kitties, the hacker version, they attack small businesses and websites, but they do it for fun. for bragging rights to talk about with their friends.
How bad of a, like, that's just the worst type of person. Like, at least make money off of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I would agree with that.
Why would you just be such an asshole just for the bragging rights?
Maybe it's like, it's a rite of passage. First, you must be a script kiddie, and then you become an extortionist, and then you become an intimidator. That's the next one. It's similar to these other harassers, but their hacking goal is to block free speech and end political decisions. So no.
Okay. So there are bigger assholes.
There are bigger assholes, yes. I wouldn't say that it's a level up. It's a spectrum. There's maybe even a full circle. It's just there's so many different types of hackers. There's hacktivists. They criticize governments, politicians, and organizations all in the name of ethics. Those can be murky, which we'll get to though as well. So yeah, the goals of hacking can range from bragging rights to installing malware to stealing data and stealing money. So let's talk about the actual hacker ethics. The jargon file is a widely used but not universally accepted text, and it defines a hacker as a person who enjoys exploring the details of programmable systems and stretching their capabilities, as opposed to most users who prefer to only learn the minimum necessary. I, for example, am the minimum necessary learner. I know how to send messages on my iPhone. I can watch YouTube. I use social media.
Just in general, I'm a minimal learner kind of girl.
No, not since we started this podcast.
That's true.
Heck no. Before that though, heck yeah. Yes, I was a minimum learner on almost every level to a fault. Mm-hmm. But not anymore. We're really doing something here. So if you support learning fully, head over to our Patreon.
Also, like we act stupid as a joke, you guys.
We're smart.
We're smart.
Is it a joke? I mean,
at this point, I don't know anymore.
We're dumb in plenty of ways, but also education is important. We really do value it.
Yeah.
Don't let our dumb jokes take away from our smart jokes.
We have a legally blonde sense of humor.
Yes, I fully agree with that. Thank goodness I just watched that last month.
For the first time.
For the first time.
Haley, why are we friends?
Because you make me better and I make you better and we expose each other to new things.
That hurts. It doesn't hurt my heart. It hurts a pit in my stomach and I feel like I'm going to throw up.
You don't even watch movies.
I've watched the important ones, like Legally Blonde.
You've watched some movies.
I used to watch a lot of movies and then I don't know what happened. My attention span just left the building. Yeah, college.
Social media happened. Yeah.
We saw a tweet and it was like, my girlfriend's really mad that we have to watch a 2-hour movie. So I told her it's like 120 TikToks. Think about it that way.
If I think about it that way, I can watch a movie.
It's much easier. Yeah. Think about all the time you spend breaking up in your brain. Like, okay, this is the 11th TikTok now. It's the 12th.
I never think about what number of TikTok I'm on.
Okay. So then you don't actually think of it. You just have to think of it at the beginning.
Okay.
To get
you
to that
count
point.
Your TikToks?
No, I don't. But I've never had to think of a movie as 120
I see what
TikToks.
You're saying. Also, like the fact that there's now 3-minute TikToks is unfair because I mentally cannot tell the difference between 1 minute and 3 minutes. So I feel like, I've only watched 6 TikToks. Like it's been 6 minutes and then it's been like a long time.
That's like you a couple episodes ago being like, I don't think I could tell the difference if I was looking at 1 million versus 100 million.
And when I made my first TikTok, it was set on 15 seconds. I didn't know that was a setting. And so I thought 1 minute was going by and I was like, wow, it's really hard to make a 1 minute long video. And I made 2 videos, made and posted 2 15-second long videos. Like, thinking they were a minute long. I have no concept.
I just really wonder what other things you have no concept of in your life.
A lot. And we're slowly realizing.
We're just peeling away the layers.
Like, is there something wrong? Probably. I need to see it.
No, I think this is just the life that we live in now. I mean, you could see a psychiatrist, just see what's up. It was a great decision for me.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, time and numbers. Ironically, I'm a math teacher, but which I always
and a history major, time and numbers.
Like they say psychologists are crazy because they like want to learn, like they're crazy. So they want to learn more about the human mind. Like I don't understand numbers and time. So I wanted to learn more about numbers and time.
I was a psychology major because everyone surrounding me is crazy.
That too.
You should tell that story to the listeners about the skydiving guy, what he asked you.
Okay, yeah. So I had spent like 20 minutes attached to this guy, the professional skydiver. We've talked about all the things, and we're in the sky. We're getting ready to land.
We're in the sky.
We're just free falling in the sky. And he's like, all right, so to get ready to land, pull your legs up as high as you can, and then we'll just like skid into the earth. I was like, okay, cool. I did that. We practiced it. And then we're just, falling through the sky together. The parachute has gone out. And he's like, so how did you get so strong? And I was like, well, I had trauma as a child and I saw a therapist. I'm so like lucky. Saw a therapist for like 10 years and it just like made me. And then I was like, wait, did you mean physically or mentally? And he's like, well, I meant physically. How did you get so strong? But I'm glad that you handled that emotional trauma. And it just I would have never expected someone to call me physically strong because I'm not. I literally don't do anything. I was like, I mean, I do bedtime yoga, but that's just like happy baby and downward dog.
I just love that. How did you get so strong? My trauma.
As you're falling through the sky.
Yeah. I felt so close to him. There's no better way. Like everyone, if you want to really get to know someone, I guess go skydiving on your first date.
That'd be a great first date.
Yeah. Screw podcasting for the first date. Screw India Palace, which was Tommy and I's first date. Go skydiving.
But your date would have to be the guy. The tandem.
Yeah, you have
to
to date a skydiver, I guess.
Get your license in skydiving and then take all your Tinder dates skydiving.
Yeah, I learned while I was there very quickly that there's a very specific type of person who skydives constantly for fun.
I'm sure.
Sky Daddy.
Sky Daddy.
They're fucking insane. They're like, yeah, the guy was like, yeah, I do this for like when it's warm. And then for the other part of the year, the other 6 months, I just like travel and do whatever. And that's like how they all are.
Well, that sounds nice.
It sounds nice. Which, maybe fucking insane isn't the right way to see these people because it sounds so freeing and amazing, but you really have to have a certain type of personality to just go balls to the wall and just skydive for 6 months at a time and then just do whatever wherever the wind blows you for 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
We just watched the movie that won Best Picture this year called Nomadland.
Yeah.
And it's about people like that go to like seasonal work. And you're right, it's definitely a type of person.
Yeah. And the whole time I was watching Nomadland, I was like, wow, this is the life. Like, I want to leave everyone and everything and just travel around. And then we got done with watching it, and Alex's dad is like, wow, like that was such a sad movie. I can't imagine that kind of isolation. Like how, like I just can't wrap my mind around it. And I had nothing to say. I was like, we had very different reactions to this movie.
My
That's
dad
how I
loves
felt.
people. Yeah.
That's how I felt when you were talking about your jelly donuts. Didn't feel like a safe zone. Wow. I mean, I think you should do it if that's what your heart says.
No,
at least
it
for
didn't.
some time.
I didn't actually want to do it, but like watching it and like in my mind, like she was traveling around the country and she was alone, but like everywhere she went, she had a community and she'd like see friends like 1 year and then like travel around and see them again. And like in my mind, she had a strong community. Like she was always around people. Like, yeah, she'd travel around in her van and like spend nights alone, but then she'd like meet up with these people. So like never in my mind for a second did I feel like she was isolated. And then that was his dad's main takeaway. So it's just like interesting, like the difference in like needs there.
Yeah, I think that's the opposing views of quantity versus quality. And I'm sure the quality
or just like
of the
extroversion
relationships-
versus introversion.
Yeah, but
like-
your dad seems pretty. Is he extroverted?
He's
More
extroverted,
introverted?
yeah.
Okay. To me, to be extroverted would mean to want like more and would want to travel. And
Well,
then why did he say it was sad?
he felt bad she was alone because like
okay.
she was traveling alone and going around. But then,
I see.
like,
For those nights,
and she'd like make these bonds with these people and then leave them and like go.
It was like people in vans living alone, meeting up for like a little bit, working on a job, and then going out. And he was just saying like he could never live alone in a van because he loves family and people so much.
Oh, I would love that balance of being like, I'm going to spend several days and nights alone, and then I'm going to hang out with
Then
people
you
for a
leave.
week. Yeah, and then get that bread, get that head, then leave.
And like I can see why it would be a depressing movie, but she never seemed sad to me. She just seemed like someone who liked to be on the road.
Yeah, you should show him the Bo Burnham special and then see what he thinks.
Yeah, I want to show him that.
You should. You should.
It was good. It was depressing though. I'm
Sometimes you need
glad I
that.
had people during my quarantine experience.
Me too. Yeah, I'm glad I had you all for my first year teaching experience,
God.
and then it was compounded with quarantine.
Yeah.
Woo!
I feel like us six, like you, me, Alec, Tommy, Kelly, Clint, like we're bonded for life.
Oh yeah,
We did this together, and like now, like I don't even want to hang out with anyone else. I'm like, I don't.
We're gonna all
I
get
want
Script
my
Kitty,
people.
tramp stamp tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this
To
podcast
memorize.
launched March of 2020. So like it was all we had
Yeah.
to do for a long time.
Yeah. We're all bonded. We should all get matching tattoos.
This is our quarantine baby. I would definitely get matching tattoos with you guys.
I would, yeah.
Me too.
It could be like the night classy moon with little sparkles, just little like something.
That'd be
That'd be
cute.
cool.
That'd be cute. It has to be a tramp stamp though.
Okay. Deal. I think a tramp stamp is the ideal place for a tattoo. It is. Your
I
skin
think
there.
I think I would just add to my ribs.
I would not get a tattoo on my
It's all
ribs.
coagulated right there. Well, we can get it in different spots.
That's true. Okay.
Okay.
I'll get a
Anyway,
tramp stamp.
speaking of the podcast, let's keep recording this podcast.
This might be our longest episode.
Truly, there's so much to learn about hacking. Okay, so anyway, there are these hackers who they go into these programs and they just figure out what they can do. Everyone is different. They have different motivations for hacking. Within hacker culture, there exists different ethics, which created white hat, black hat, and gray hat hackers. White hat hackers, just like in good old Western films, are the good guys. They're protectors of the security systems. They are the ethical ones. They're the ones who are asked by companies to hack their programs, figure out where their vulnerabilities are, and that's what they get paid for. Black hat hackers are the bad guys. They're the malicious hackers, the ones who love to reap havoc on their systems. They hack even when people don't want them to, and they typically do it for personal gain. And then there are the gray hat hackers who are a little bit of this, a little bit of that. If they find a way to hack into a system, maybe they'll offer to fix it for a small fee or maybe for a big fee. I don't know. They're
freelancers.
The wild card. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're freelancers. They're not working for themselves or for you. So whatever. There's no rules. So back to these DDoS attacks. Fixing them on average can cost a company $408,000, and it can take nearly 3 weeks. The damage doesn't stop at finances alone. It can be extremely difficult to get rid of the malware from the hacking, and oftentimes companies have to actually replace the actual hardware of their systems to get rid of it. But at the end of the day, it's definitely nothing, in my opinion, compared to the loss of trust in their customers after one of these attacks. So, for example, in 2000, Michael Kelsey, I don't know, he was 15 years old. He went by the name Mafia Boy on the internet. Don Corleone, if you will. He launched one of the first ever DDoS attacks. and leave it to 15-year-old boys. We were just talking about my freaking 12-year-old brother getting into
Oh my God.
some trouble.
He had quite the week.
Yes, like I just can't believe the week he's had. But leave it to a 15-year-old boy. Michael's using his hacking skills to get onto the networks of several universities. And then from there, that allowed him to crash major websites. I have no idea how, so don't ask me. But he crashed websites for CNN, E-Trade, eBay, and Yahoo. He was convicted of these internet crimes in Montreal, but in recent years, he's become one of these white hat hackers who helps companies discover their weaknesses. And ever since this first DDoS attack, it seems like almost every major company has experienced one of them. So they've become extremely prevalent in the 2000s. Hacking is really advanced now. There are these hacktivist groups, such as Anonymous is the name of one of them, is really well known. They tend to release secret documents that they've hacked. They will expose government secrets and do vigilante work. And before I said that it was murky, and that's because of the
Anonymity.
I can never.
Anonymity.
If it's because the anonymity. Motivations are not always clear. So some notable hacktivist groups include WikiLeaks, for example. They operate under the principle of principled leaking. In my notes, oh my God. I said, this is like my body realizing I'm getting old. I was like, no, I'm not going to accidentally pee all the time. But the other day I was on the toilet and I sneezed and I definitely leaked. And I was like, that's a principled leaking according to my body.
I was wondering where the leaking would be coming from according to age. Glad you cleared it up.
Yep. That was just my personal connection to WikiLeaks and their principled leaking. They aim to fight societal corruption. The Anonymous hacktivist group, they originated on 4chan, so kind of murky beginnings. They found themselves in the spotlight in 2008, though, when they hacked the Church of Scientology. Most of their hacking is illegal, but a lot of their projects have benefited charitable causes. They've stood in solidarity with Black Lives Matter protests and have taken down over 10,000 sites with child pornography on the dark web.
Good for them.
Yeah, you got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the hacking of the Colonial Pipeline. Like most things these days, these oil pipelines are run by computers, not by humans. There are a lot of advantages of doing it this way. They have specific sensors, thermostats, valves, all of that just make sure everything is flowing right, because all of this oil is going across hundreds of miles in our country. They even have something called a smart pig.
That sounds cute.
It's not really cute, but it does sound cute. It's a robot that essentially just lives in the oil pipes, and it just like travels around and makes sure everything's kosher.
Aww.
Wow.
Does it look like a pig?
No, it just looks like something that connects pipes kind of, but it moves through the pipes.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up. I was like, this is not what I wanted it to be. I wanted
This is
it
not
to be
smart
pink.
or a pig.
No, you lied to me. Look at it. It just looks like a fucking robot.
Yeah. Except I think if it looked like a pig, I'd be sad that it was underground in an oil tube. So I'm glad I'm not sad for it.
That's probably why they made it not look like a pig.
Yeah.
Because once you name it, you can't really change the name
Yeah.
of something you're in too deep, but you can affect how it looks. If
Pig
you're
is just
creating
such
it.
a cute word. Like that thing looks nothing like a pig or anything sentient, but I'm still like, oh, it's a smart pig.
Yeah, it looks like those things without all the tentacles in the Matrix that would like come and find people who were outside of the Matrix.
What if it was
It's like a metal tube.
a robot cop on all fours?
With a huge Jimmy Neutron head. It's a smart pig.
And it just like, it doesn't even walk. It just like swims like sperm through the pipes. That's
Ew.
essentially what that thing does, but without all the back and forth. So they are these smart pigs to make sure everything's going well in the pipelines. And it's all controlled by one central system that's connected to the internet. It's practically impossible for companies to not be connected to the internet, although it is risky because of hackers. It's impossible in this day and age. So the company's network is still well protected, but they think that the hackers got in through the administrative side of the business, possibly like an email. I'm sure we've all gotten emails that we thought were from Amazon, for example, but it was AZAMOM. Just that slight difference where it's like, we think somebody hacked into your account, like reset your password. They think that it was maybe that. But what actually happened was there was a hearing about this. The head of Colonial Pipeline told U.S. senators that the hackers got into the system by stealing the password. The VPN didn't have a multi-factor authentication. So I don't know about you, but for my university email, I always have to send a text to myself. There's this whole other app that is like the Duo authentication. I really can't talk at this point. But this huge Colonial Pipeline just had, as soon as you had the password, you were open to everything. The chief executive said in his defense that, quote, "It was a complicated password. It was not a Colonial 123 type password." Kat, what's funnier than Colonial 123?
28.
Colonial 123
Oh,
28. Sure,
I was thinking,
yeah,
what was
sure.
the SpongeBob bit?
What's
what's
funnier
funnier than 20?
44?
Oh. No, it's like 25, 27,
yeah.
28. I couldn't remember the exact number. I don't know.
We're both
I
riffing on
butchered
the
it.
same thing.
I butchered it.
No, you were close.
okay.
You were close. Same idea, just not executed right. That's okay. It's okay.
We tried. We've had a lot of wine.
I know this is a long episode, so if you're sticking with us, we appreciate you. We
Yeah.
love you.
We're trying
so much.
I'm just thinking about that frozen pizza I'm going to eat when I get home.
Oh my God, Tommy's picking up Taco Bell for us.
Oh my God, can
Do
you
want
pick up Taco Bell
Yeah.
for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just got paid today. I'm like,
Oh,
you
wow.
get Taco Bell. You
Yeah.
get Taco Bell.
He can buy me. I won't Venmo him. I'll make a point not to. He got paid today.
Right. We do enough for him.
Yeah. I do enough for him by doing nothing for him.
You give me the outlet of having a best friend, so you get unloaded. I'm sure plenty
Yeah, I
of
babysat you. I babysat you for
Right.
him all day.
all day.
I took
You entertained me.
well, you
while
took
he's
me
working at
thrifting,
home.
but I entertained you while we
That's
thrifted.
true. You found a $900 bike for $300.
I did. It was exciting. Now Alec has a bike.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, Kat found me a almost $1,000 bike at Goodwill.
It was brand fucking new.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. You should post that. There are like sites on Facebook.
I know.
that
I was
get
thinking
some
about
love.
putting it on
You
it.
should. If you don't, I will. And
Okay.
maybe I still will if you do.
It was very exciting. You guys, you don't understand. It was a brand new $1,000 bike for $300.
The Alec you said had been talking about.
He
since
had
you
been
met.
looking at them, and I went to look at them to buy one for him for Christmas, and I was like, I just can't afford that. I can't do it. And then here we go. There it is
There
in
we
Goodwill.
go.
The exact bike I was going to buy.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Yeah.
I found some cute clothes, so it's fine.
Me too.
Yeah, you really did.
I did.
You really
I'm
did.
excited.
We had a great time.
We did.
Anyway, Colonial was not having a great time. This hacking shut the pipeline down for days, which led to people panic buying gas, and gas prices gas prices rose significantly. The FBI confirmed that the hacking came from a ransomware gang called DarkSide, which is kind of a cool name if you ask me.
Kind of. But also a
little
very
generic.
original. It's pretty derivative.
They operate out of Russia.
Okay.
So I feel like that changes.
Maybe
things
they
a
don't
little
have
bit.
Star Wars in Russia.
Yeah,
They're we thought of this.
I don't know what's cool in Russia. Yeah. I want to see the Russian movie of the dark side that isn't the Star Wars, because maybe they don't know. And what was rare about the Colonial Pipeline is how they were hacked was a program that's essential to the public. Everybody who has a car is buying gas. Unless you've bought a hybrid or you have an electrical car, then shout out to you. That's fucking awesome. The rest of us are being held back by the oil companies. So this has been more rare in the past, but when hackers do it, they fucking do it. They have a much better chance of getting paid when they hack a system that affects the general population. I actually do have a picture of what appeared on the people's victims.
It looks terrible.
Website. Yeah.
It looks bad. If they're hackers, they should have like done some better graphic design.
Can you read what it says?
It says your network has been locked. You need to pay $2 million. Just $2 million? Or $4 million after doubled. After payment, we will provide you universal decryptor for all network. And it just like looks red and gray and fuzzy.
That's so funny that you say it looks bad, because I was like, oh my God, because that's the only thing that shows up on your screen.
Yeah.
You can't get out of that.
I guess it is very clear.
It's very clear. It seems very scary to me.
Yeah.
So Colonial did pay them almost $5 million via Bitcoin to get access back to their network. So they paid the ransom.
So like 2 Bitcoins.
But
Just kidding. That was dumb.
that was good.
I probably would have
let's wrap
laughed
this
if I
up.
didn't know how many Bitcoins it was. Okay. Anyway, they paid them the ransom. The U.S. government recovered most of the money, but by the time they were able to recover it, the price of Bitcoin had fallen so significantly, they were fucked. They were only able to recover $2.3 million.
LOL. Couldn't they have just hung on to the Bitcoin? Oh my God. Until it like rose in value.
Well, the U.S. government was like, what the fuck? Why did you pay them without even consulting us? They just paid this.
Shouldn't they be
random
happy? They're like,
company.
thank God we don't have to deal with this. They just paid
Well, they have to
them.
deal with it no matter what. And then they had to go back in and figure out this whole hacking and how it worked. And they're like, you could have not even paid and we could have handled this. But meanwhile, the government is freaking like touching itself to oil companies at night anyway. So they were like, you paid $5 million and we were only able to recover almost half of that. That was kind of dumb, Colonial.
I guess, but like $2 million in the grand scheme of things to an oil company.
Yeah.
Like that's
But to Uncle Sam, that'd be like change, Like,
anyway, they just kind of were like, really, guys?
Really?
Like they didn't even call like anyone in the government before they paid this ransom for this hacking.
yeah. I was saying the U.S. government's like, what the fuck? Like, we could have paid that so easily.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see now.
Okay.
Yeah. So they think that it was Darkseid who did this. Darkseid never directly mentioned Colonial, but they did say around this time that, quote, their goal is to make money and to not create problems for society. And that from today, they would introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future.
They're like, we're sorry you put gasoline in shopping bags. We won't do it again.
We're sorry that somebody's house got burnt down because they were that's not.
I was like, really?
No, I think that did happen.
Really?
A lot of people's houses burned down.
Why?
Because they were hoarding gas in their cars.
Okay, well,
It
that
caught on
just-
fire.
Yeah, okay, so it's messed up. It's just all bad.
Yeah.
So Darkseid, this hacking group, they do partner with other companies to target their partners' arch nemesis. And they've said before that they will start donating some of their extorted money
my
to
God.
charities.
They're like Robin Hood.
Yes, they are like Robin Hood. It's like
What
the
the
modern
fuck?
version of Robin Hood.
Or
So-
just stop.
they were bad, but also Colonial was bad. Like,
That's true.
what multi-million-dollar company has a single password that gets you into the
That's
entire
true.
thing.
Everyone's stupid, and we're living in a simulation. And
I hope so.
are the people playing this game right now think it's so fucking funny.
They're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, it's some 15-year-old playing against their 15-year-old friend controlling
Definitely.
Colonial and Darkseid, and they're like just like having the time of their lives.
Can you believe we used to just make them woohoo? Yeah. So I want to talk. There are a few different points I want to make before we end. The next thing I want to talk about is emerging technology. So as technology evolves, so does hacking. 5G LTE creates more opportunities for hackers to hack. And this also creates an ever-expanding Internet of Things, which is something I'd never heard before this lesson. But the Internet of Things is basically all of the physical things that are connected to the internet. I was like, I just never thought of it that way. Because there's a difference between technology and the Internet of Things. It almost creates an idea of this whole being that is universal at this point, that exists way beyond us. So the evolution of technology calls for this technological expertise. And the issue is that these two things are not growing at the same pace. Technology is running far ahead of us. Meanwhile, I don't know how to hack. The average person doesn't know how to hack things, but things are getting much more hackable. And for those people who do have the expertise to hack, having something like 5G creates an exponentially higher chance and opportunity to hack things. It creates more avenues for more connections, for more hacking to happen.
I feel like I've learned so much and yet nothing at all.
I know. It's so hard to understand.
I don't get it.
I'm going to end it on something that I hope that you can actually apply to your life.
Okay.
But a couple more scary things. Okay. For as many people who do know how to hack, there are most people who don't know how to hack. There's a saying in the hacker community that amateurs hack systems, professionals hack people. Meaning that if you don't know how to protect yourself against hackers, or don't even think to, then you put yourself and your company at risk for stolen credit cards, breach information, all of that. There are also AI and deep fakes that exist now that use created face and voice things, videos that can trick people and technology to thinking that you're someone that you're not. Hackers are also able to get in through old technologies. I have quite literally never used a fax machine. They're like the dinosaur in the office, but still 62% of companies still use them.
Yeah, I used them when I was a receptionist at a physical therapy clinic.
So many people do. It's not uncommon.
Makes no sense. Like literally why?
Another thing
they
that
still
doesn't
have to
make
do it.
sense, most times their factory set passwords are never changed. And it makes it really easy for hackers to hack into that faxing system and get all of the information that's being faxed.
And it's
Think
like
of
mostly
all of,
doctors' offices that use that.
The social security
Yeah.
numbers, insurance, addresses,
It makes no
credit
sense.
cards.
Email a PDF. Like, why are we printing
Why are we
it?
faxing? It's so insane. Printers also pose a risk if passwords aren't changed. Like they come with a password whether you know it or not, and most of the time they're the same just from the company. Video conference systems, including security cameras with like door access systems where you punch in a code, and HVAC systems, like your heating and cooling, they're typically not installed by IT people. And this leaves a blind spot for a lot of companies, which hackers can connect to their network through these unprotected HVAC systems and then get into all their other information from there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to end on how to protect yourself. There are so many actions. After my next paycheck, I'm going to spend like $200 easily on just protecting my internet self.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, this lesson really transformed you.
It really did. Like, I'm going to get my private VPN. I'm going to get LifeLock because I don't want my social security number to be stolen. Like, it's such a hassle.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for people to do.
Yeah.
And to think of all these major companies that have been breached, like even they can't protect themselves against it. So why would I think that I can just fucking freeball on the internet?
Because chances are no one's going to take it.
That's not true. Okay, protect yourself starting with your phone. Don't jailbreak your phone. You may get access to more things, but when you jailbreak it, you're essentially taking away all of the built-in security of the phone. Make your phone lock sooner. If it's set to lock after 5 minutes, maybe bump it up to 1 minute. For me, I need to make it lock at all. I just have it on never locking and I don't have a password.
Yeah.
So I need to make changes. Also, update your software. It's so easy to be like, ignore or try tonight, but that software often includes bugs to fix all of those holes that companies didn't know about until they found out about. Two-factor authentication is super important. Make a long-ass unique password. You can turn on an erase data setting where after too many failed password attempts, your phone basically self-destructs. Don't fall for phishing or pop-up ads. Turn off autofill. If your phone gets into the wrong hands, people can easily autofill in your first name, last name, address.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
It's a risk I'm willing to take on my computer.
And phone.
Because it also protects myself from buying too much.
Oh, I see on your phone.
Yeah.
My phone automatically, like on my Mac, I had autofill. On my phone, it wasn't on. And then one day I woke up and my phone was able to autofill my debit card onto websites. And I was like, wow, my life has been changed.
You hacked.
I wasn't hacked.
There's no way for you to know.
Oh, if I was hacked, all they did was make my life easier and they never took any money from me.
Thank you, hackers.
Thanks, Daddy Hacker. Thank you.
Okay. In ending, the last thing that you could do is to just get off the grid. Just go live somewhere, take that van life up like Kat was talking about earlier, get rid of all of your internet connected devices and say, peace out, hackers. Thank you to Jacob Krieg. This was a very informational lesson. I learned a lot and now I'm going to spend a lot of money on freaking protecting myself against hackers. So if you would like to support us, head over to Patreon. My sources are, and there are a lot of them, so I apologize in advance. Cyber News, Brief History of Hacking and Cybersecurity. Gizmodo, 10 Hackers Who Made History by Paul Escalier. Knowing is Half the Battle on Tripwire. What is a DDoS service attack and what can you do about them on LifeLock? The Evolution of Hacking on Tripwire. 1Password allowed hackers to disrupt Colonial Pipeline on Reuters.com. Wikipedia, Quora, Breach of Trust on IndustryWeek.com and AT&T Business.com. If you stuck around this long, we appreciate you so much.
We do. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Hayley, for that lesson. And thank you, Jacob. That was a good lesson.
Thank you. Yeah, I learned so much. I hope you guys did too. And I hope you're inspired or at least thinking about doing something that'll protect your internet identity and security in the future.
Just think about it. And in the meantime, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Tell a friend about us. Follow us on social media. And maybe even check out our Patreon. As always, thank you so much for listening. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.